This segment is brought to you by JigMasters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to JigMasters.com and use promo code PNF20 and save 20% off your next jig order today.
Let's go!
This is the Chasing the Tide Saltwater segment on the Paddle and Fin Network. I'm your host, Dustin Nichols. So come along for the saltwater shenanigans. Oh yeah, here we are, back again. Another episode of Chasing the Tide Saltwater segment here on the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. I'm your host, Dustin Nichols. Tonight I got my man, Mike Fiorenza here with me. What's up, brother?
What's happening, bro?
Oh, it's happening, man. We're just going to talk a smorgasbord of info tonight. We're going to kind of get into the lost art of paddling. It seems like every time you turn around, you know, there's new and improved pedal drives and spot lock trolling motors popping out. But you know, deep down and dirty is us redfish guys like to chase the old reds in the marsh via the paddle. I like to slide back in there and push pole around and just creep up on them, man. You know, what do you think about that? You know, what's your say on that?
I love it. I love paddling. Yeah, most of the water I'm in, 90% of the time, you don't have the ability to use a drive anyway.
Exactly.
I've fished with all sorts of drives. I mean, the Wildy drive, the Jackson drive, the Hobie drive, and I know you can flutter the fins in the Hobie, but man, I know I destroyed that drive in a matter of an hour in half of the places I fish. If you saw the bottom of my kayaks, that you'd know why.
Oh yeah.
So I like paddling.
It's a understatement when he says oyster rash.
Yeah. Heat gun's one of my best friends. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Heat gun is when a heat gun is your best friend. You know you're dragging through some oysters, trying to get back to that skinny water, find those reds lake with the backs out of the water. You know, cruising, blowing up shrimp and mullet, chasing them all over the place. You know, so you know that's the soul of kayaking to me. That's where it all started. It started with a paddle. You know, I have my drives. I run, you know, the Flex Drive 3D in Jackson's, and you know, it has its purpose in place. You know, fighting the wind and this and that. But you know, I like to get back in the marsh and flow and just kind of just ease through there and creep through there and get some good eats on the redfish. And it's just so much more like satisfaction in that, knowing that I paddled back there, you know, 5 miles to get back to these lakes, and I'm back there chasing these fish, and I got to turn around and paddle 5 miles back.
Way back. Yeah.
Way to get back. There's more satisfaction in it to me that I'm able to get out there and still do that. You know, so yeah, I'm totally for there being plenty of space in the kayaking world to keep them paddle boats coming. It seems like some of the companies have kind of gotten away from the longer, narrower style boats, like the Kraken 13.5, 11, and 11.5. Some of the other wilderness boats. You know, everything's went a little bit shorter and wider for stability. You know, you want to be able to stand up, you know, and punch baits, and when bass fishing, you know, you need that stability and all that. So, you know, I hope we'll see a resurgence of some narrower, sleeker kayaks around. You know, I'm looking maybe 2021 for Jackson. Maybe something's going to be sneaking out. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what's in the works. I know there's talks of limited runs of the Kraken.
That's a fantastic boat.
Those are great boats.
Yeah.
The 13.5 is super fast, but the 11.5 is pretty dang. I mean, 13.5 is fast, and then the 15.5. That's what I got my notes mixed up. Yeah, that thing's a missile. Yeah, the 13.5 is the smaller one. I got mixed up on that for some reason. I'm brain dead right now. I'm fried from all that sun I've been getting pretty much fishing every day. I've been chasing those green fish this week, so kind of all off the normal plan of chasing redfish. I've been chasing the bass all week. Man, it's been on too. It's been some mighty fine fishing. The water's been crowded. How's it been over in your areas?
Absolutely. There are more people on the water now than I think I've ever seen. There's kayaks and boats and wade fishing and bank fishing, and it's all over the place. So people have a lot more time right now. I mean, they're dealing with this, like we're all dealing with, and they're getting out and trying to do stuff. I think it's good for the sport in the long run.
It's super good for the sport. I know where some dealers are like selling through all their boats. Like they're already reordering, and the factory at Jackson is just now starting to ramp back up and allow more workers to come in, and they're trying to play catch up because, man, stuff is selling. We thought, okay, this is going to be a big blow to our sales for the year. This is that and this and that. And then it's like, man, there's like, I think across the board, everybody, all kinds of kayaks are selling. So, I mean, with all that in general, that you go to buy a new kayak, you're going to want to, not just grab some off the wall paddle. You want to actually do some research and find something that fits you and fits your kayak. So yeah. What are you paddling with right now?
So I have a Werner Schuna. I have a hybrid paddle stroke between high angle and low angle, and it is the blade that works for me. I'm pulling a 240, and I dig it. I've got a bending branches too. I use that in the wider. That's a 250. I use that in my wider boats, my Ride 115, and sometimes in the Tarpon 130X. So it's good. I like. Yeah. It's funny when I first started out, I had a Carlisle paddle, and I had said, "Wow, this was really light." And then I got the Werner, and I was like, there's no comparison, right?
Oh yeah.
And really, if you're gonna hold a paddle for 6 or 8 hours, and that's your motor. I mean, that's your motor. That's your turning. I mean, it is everything you do in the water. You are literally holding that. The lighter the paddle, the longer you can enjoy being out there.
The less fatigue for sure.
Absolutely.
And then I know you mentioned something about the high angle and low angle paddle strokes. For the listeners, if you're not familiar with that, a lower angle, dig into the water is it's more like leisurely pace. You're just kind of just horizontally kind of going into the digging into the water just real lightly. You don't get as fatigued as much and everything. And then a vertical stroke is you're going to be like fully like digging down and like getting that stroke going and kind of getting the reciprocated motion with that paddle. Or if you have a shorter paddle, say like a whitewater kayak or something, they're going to use the vertical strokes and dig in and turn and adjust, just getting those
feather the blades too.
Yeah, and you feather the blades a little bit more. Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, like you were saying, there's different sizes, there's different widths, there's different blade configurations, there's different materials. I mean, there's so much out there. Get something that's light. I mean, get something that's carbon fiber, fiberglass and carbon reinforced blades. And then by height, I mean, if you're, say your kayak's 29 to 33 inches wide, average size kayaks, you're under 5'5", you could possibly use like a 235 or 240. Then on up from there, say if you're 5'6" to 5'11", 240, 245-ish centimeters, that's what they measure the kayaks in. I mean, the kayak paddles are measured in centimeters. So, and then say you're 6 foot tall and you got, 29 to 33 inch wide kayak, you probably go a 250 to 260. And then it all kind of goes up from there. Say if like the big rig that I fish out of is 40 inches wide.
Plus the elevated seat. I'm
5'9" and a half and some change or whatever, and the seat's elevated. And so even though I do paddle that boat a lot, I got a 255 or a 260. That's what I would go with, because you want to be able to make adjustments and stuff. You don't want to have a short paddle and you're banging your freaking knuckles on the gunnels when you're trying to turn and stuff. That can't happen. So, just something to look into, something like that. Just go grab a few at one of your local dealers, man. Just go pick up a couple. Don't go, if, see the difference. Even at Academy, some of the other, Magellan and some of the other lower end bending branches or other paddles they'll have in stock there, you'll be able to tell a difference. You'll go pick up that
aluminum shaft
with
nylon blades,
and you'll pick that up and you'll pick one of those carbon fiber ones up and you'll be like, whoa, there's a huge difference. So for anybody that's looking into getting into kayak fishing, there's things you gotta, take into consideration, being that, if you are going to have a paddlecraft, that's your mode of propulsion. You don't want to, you start getting cramps, you're stuck, and then then it all comes down to, safety on the water and, researching, what all you have to have with you on the water too. There's so many people out there that are trying to get in, that are getting into kayak fishing, that are just going and buying, just to start a kayak to get going. Yes, I started in a Perception Caster 12.5. Yeah, I started in one of those yellow, small sit-on top kayaks, and I ended up doing like a black fade on the nose and the bow and stern. So everybody would call it the bruised banana. So, and I car topped it on the top of a little, a little hatchback too. So everybody was cracking up. And when I first started, when I got into it, I didn't know any better. I did buy a decent paddle, and I figured it all out. But with the influx of so much information on the internet, YouTube videos, podcasts, websites, and everything, you could do some research and really get, understand what all you need to have on the water. I'm going to tell a little story back in the it was in late January, early February. I was launching at a particular place where I like to go chase some pretty big trout that time of year. And there was 4 or 5 guys, had got out of trucks and they were unloading these, they had a couple of Ketch 100s and some little kayaks, and it was well before sunrise. And, I'm getting mine rigged up. I'm getting my light turned on. I got all my stuff, got my PFD, got everything ready. In Texas, you got to have a signaling device like a whistle or a horn or something with you. Also, you have to have that 360 light on and visible in twilight hours and before dawn and after dusk. And these guys, I was just, trying to help. Hey, man, how y'all doing? What? And they were asking, about the, they saw I had like more than one rod, and they're like, dude, how many rods? I got a top water rod. I got one with a Corky Fat Boy. I got one with a plastic. I don't like to retie when I'm on the water.
Efficiency.
You're wasting time. You got to be organized. Everything has to be within arm's reach, And so I was like, yeah, man. I was like, yeah, you got PFD. You got to have one with you. If you don't wear it, it's still got to be on your kayak. Are y'all good to go on that? No, man, we don't even have no PFD. We don't got no life jacket. I was like, well, I said, the game warden's going to love you if he happens to roll up on y'all. I said, y'all got lights? And they're like, no, man, we don't got lights. I said, dude, we just had somebody get ran over by a boat like freaking not even 2 months ago. And he didn't have a light. He didn't have PFD. And the guy died, and they're like, whoa. I was like, yeah, man. I said, yeah. So there's a lot of that out there where that people are just going and getting into, it's awesome. We got people getting into our sport, but you have to know the essentials. But you have to go and check everything out and get, familiar with what all you're going to need on the water. You never know what can happen on the water. And yes, I surfed my whole life. I've traveled lots of places since I lived in Hawaii. I surfed big waves. I surfed Big Sunset Beach. I surfed pipe, not giant pipe, but I surfed pipe. I surfed some good waves and big waves. Yes, my leash is on my ankle and my board is tethered to me, and that's my means of flotation. If I get separated from my board, if my leash breaks, I'm in trouble. I got to swim, and that's why I could swim. I was a water I did some water survival instruction in the Marine Corps. You know, I know how to swim. I'm a waterman. I've been around the water my whole life. So with that saying, you know, it's like, man, I really would like to get an initiative going to where this kayak safety is pushed a little further, because, you know, you start talking about PFDs on message boards and groups and people start, well, I ain't got to wear it. It's like making me wear a seatbelt. Well, yeah, I wear a seatbelt in the car too. Well, you don't, do you wear a PFD when you surf? I said, no, but I got a leash with my surfboard attached to me.
Yeah, you got a flotation device. I think it's our responsibility. I really do. And I haven't met many kayakers out there that are either fishing for quite a long time or in a tournament, in or out of a tournament scene, that aren't willing to bend over backwards and share information and help people out so that the tragedies don't happen. So that, you know, all the stuff that we've learned over the years, we're willing to share. Yeah. But I also think it's our responsibility, because you're right. There's a lot of new growth in the sport, and they're buying, you know, they're buying entry level gear, and they may not know exactly what they need.
Exactly.
I mean, just think about some of the places we fish. There's gators all over the place. So you go in and no PFD and knock yourself out, you're a floating chunk of meat. You know. Yeah. I mean. Oh yeah. It is our responsibility to safely message. Yep. And it does bother me when I start seeing on threads and on posts that, you know, people are heckling other people for wearing pipes. I think it goes the other way too, though. If you're seeing a post or seeing something that the guy isn't wearing it, don't heckle him about it. Right. Approach it professionally. Approach it reasonably, like a civilized person, and have a conversation with. I mean, you can't change anybody's mind, but you can. You know, at least
that's like with those kids that morning. I wasn't trying to force feed them anything. I was just, hey man, y'all might need to think about this next time, or look into what all you need for getting on the water and staying safe on the water, because that's the main concern. I don't want to be hearing about another casualty out there on the water when it could have been avoided. You know, with a light and a PFD and something that, you know, a float plan, you know, a bug out bag. I mean, this stuff's going to happen. Weather changes in Texas. If you don't like it, wait 5 minutes. I mean, it's crazy. You can find yourself in some sketchy situations with the wind and storms popping up on you and stuff like that. I mean, stuff like that's going to happen. Weather is forecasted. It's not guaranteed. Always remember that. Being a surfer, you know, my whole life, I mean, I'm basically a amateur meteorologist, because I tracked maps. I would watch storm systems for swells, and that's the same thing when you flip it over to fishing. I look at that tidal movement and you know, weather patterns and everything. I look at the maps and want to see what all's happening, you know, with the wind, the isobars, and the wind direction and speed. You know, I look at all of that kind of stuff, you know. So I'm glad we dove into this a little bit, because it's something that weighs on my mind a lot. Is trying to help these anglers, you know, just getting into the sport, getting into kayak fishing, you know. So that's what's cool. You know, Mike's a fellow contributor to Saltwater Angler, which is a Texas magazine. Well, it's available in Louisiana now too. You know, we contribute some articles and stuff, and you know, we always are you know. Being a part of Jackson, I do have to have my PFD on, and it just rolls over from tournaments too, because in tournaments it's required to be on at all times. You'll get your fish if it's an online event and it's unzipped, you're getting DQ'd. Your fish are DQ'd.
Thrown out of a kayak once, and it should make you know, you shouldn't be in that situation. In my opinion, to start with, you should always have PFD. But if you get thrown out of your kayak once, you're going to realize how important that is really quick. Yes. I mean, in deep water, you're going to rely on it. I mean, to get gear back in and get back on, you're going to rely on that flotation. You get tired real quick trying to get back into a kayak and get gear in while you're treading water and trying to gather.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
In shallow water, it hurts. When you hit the bottom in 10 inches of water, it hurts. Right? Yeah. So, I mean, there's unlimited upside to wearing them.
Also, if you're in them back marsh areas with that silty mud, and you got your PFD on and you're in a foot of water, but the mud's up to your neck, If you were to fall out, you got that PFD on. That could make a difference right there. Also,
Absolutely.
big time.
Absolutely. And a lot of them they're designed to roll you over too. This is something that a lot of people don't talk about.
Yep.
Good PFDs are designed to roll you over so that you're not face first down. So in case you hit a gunnel or you hit something on the way down and knock yourself out, that PFD will roll you over so you're face up. Yes. And a lot of people don't think about that or talk about that, but that's correct. That's what it's made to be.
That's what it's made to do. And there's so many options out there now that are comfortable. You know, they've come a long way over the years. You know, Kokatat makes some good stuff. NRS, which is what I wear, Chinook. They got the Raku. It's a thin backed one. You know, the Chinook has the higher back with a mesh underneath that kind of don't interfere with your seat back and everything. And it's, you know, it's not as hot as some of those traditional ones that have a full back and everything. So, I mean, there's all kind of little gear pockets and little lanyard tile points for your you know, your snips and your knife to go on there, and your little pockets for your whistle and whatever else you want to throw in there. Yeah, they've come a long way over the first one I had.
I will tell you, with the inflatables, the automatic inflatables, you put them in your hull, make sure you're not getting any water in your hull. When those things go off inside of the hull, it will scare the bejesus out of you.
Oh yeah. I like to have my pockets. I like to have all my stuff, especially tournament fishing. I have a lanyard for my phone where it goes and where I can pull it out and access my phone real quick to take my pictures, especially for bass tournaments or online, like the KBF does for kayak bass fishing. Actually has a redfish challenge series also. So, you know, I like to have all my stuff accessible. So I know the self-inflatables are a lot lighter and maybe a little bit cooler, but I don't know, something about just having that foam on me.
I use it when it's fun and I'm going with one or two rods, and it's I don't need to worry about any of that. But you're right, tournament or anything that you need gear wise, it also stores all your gear for you.
Yes, it's good to have that. Yep. Damn Skippy. Oh yeah. So, all right. Well, we talked a little bit about paddling, talked a little bit about some paddles, a little bit about some safety gear. It's just a little smorgasbord today, so we're going to get on into what we call a tackle box confessionals right here, and we're going to talk about we'll dive into your little tackle tray, what you have on your kayak, Mike, recently. What's been working the past few weeks, like some of that?
I go with 4 rods, and I'm pretty consistent going 4 rods. I have a walking topwater bait. I have and that changes sporadically throughout the day, color, sound, size. And I have a rod that I start out with a hunchback on. That rod will end up with, if nothing's going on with a hunchback, that rod will end up with a chatterbait on it.
Oh yeah.
Then I have a tail, and then I've got a spinning rod with a popping cork. So those are my 4. It's consistent. If I can't catch fish with one of those 4, I'm in the wrong area, and I need to go find different fish.
Yeah, need to move to some productive water.
Correct. Yeah.
Same thing. And as far as walking baits go, what are you throwing? You throwing some like a Super Spook Juniors?
Spook Juniors, Super Spooks, one knockers. I've been
kind of change it up.
Yeah,
depending on what the fish want.
I've been throwing a lot of the custom baits. I know that you're throwing the salty plugger.
Salty plugger, yeah.
Chris
has been hooking
Chris's
it up.
Baits, and they look awesome. I've been throwing a lot of it available to me and through Anglers Anonymous. Adam's custom baits. And he's been cranking out some awesome looking topwater baits as well.
Yeah, did you see those ones I put up the other day? I got him some of the bone and his fluorescent orange bellies. Oh man, I can't wait to get them out there. They're gonna kill them. So and those white ones look good too. It's like a white ghost. Bass are gonna eat them.
I have an issue with these snake heads that I'm cursed with those things. I've had so many fish come up and push up behind them or smack at them and not hit them. And I mean, I've gotten them to the point where I'm right by the side of the boat and I'm watching them look at the thing and then they'll turn off. And it's just
Wow.
like, I don't know if it's the sound or I don't know what it is. But, I don't have that. I think it's mental. It's me. It's a confidence issue. I got to get better with those.
Are the snake heads, are they a true one knocker, or are they the ones that have a one ball bearing in the body, and then in the head they have 4 little BBs? So it's
the 4 little BBs in the head. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little different one.
2 tones. Yep.
Yeah, it's got 2 tones in them.
It pulls them out of the grass. I mean, there's no question. You could see them come out of the grass, but then they don't want to seem to commit to it. So I'm committed to. We're gonna make that one work because I'm a little bit stubborn.
They eat them over here pretty good.
I know they do. I know.
I've been crushing them on them, man. Yeah. But Chris does the spook juniors too. He'll do the super spooks. He does some skitter walk profile baits and paints them all up. He's actually doing plastics now. He's got some kickbacks or I'm thinking grande baits, kickback shad. He's got a the boot tail shad. It's like a pretty big swim bait, so it's something different. He's taking off pretty good. He's got, he's pushing out some orders and stuff and getting them done.
Yep.
Like that white color one though, man. I got to get that one out there. I caught some bass on it yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah. They came up. They came up and crushed it pretty good because it's got the black nickel hooks on it, so you don't really have to. It fares well in the fresh water.
In Galveston, I was in Galveston this weekend fishing, and I called out a gar with the top water, and I'm like, oh no, please no,
no, especially the big nasty ones. Ugh.
Oh yeah. You ever get a mouthful of those teeth in a 2-hook super spook? It's not fun to get out. But
no, not at all. Didn't it poach one of your fish off your stringers?
Snatched a 22-inch trout off my stringer. We were having a couple of us were having a little fun tourney, and we all hung out at my buddy's house there in Jamaica Beach.
Oh, cool.
And, we just ran out and went running around Galveston Island State Park area, and he came. It was funny. I was looking at him. I'm like, well, maybe I should try to catch him.
Yeah.
And I had thrown in a plastic, and when I twitched, he spooked and spun and got me all wet. And he went around behind, and paddling him. I'm starting to turn, going, man, he's going after my fish. Boom. He took that trout off that stringer so fast. I'm like, you're kidding me.
Dang. How big was he?
Probably about 4, just over 4 feet. But
gosh, dang, that'd have been a good fight on that.
His head was, you know what I mean? It's like that. So I mean, he was a good sized gar. But he came out. He came out of a pocket, chasing that one knocker.
Yeah.
So he came out. I saw that push. I was like, whoa.
That's a big old redfish.
That's what I thought. And then they come up to the surface.
Yeah.
And as soon as he came up to the surface, like, oh no, get away from that.
Shoot. Bye. Yeah. Yeah. We had a good bit of rain over there too. Pushed a lot of fresh water into everything, and we got it all over here also. Some systems it affects. Weird with the runoff and stuff, but then some of the marshes, and some of the sandy areas and stuff where all the little fiddlers are at and everything, and it that water clears up a little bit. I've had some instances like that after the rain, and the redfish were all. I mean, you could taste it. It was pretty sweet, and they were all up in there too. They were all up in like just overflowed, flats, from the rain, and they were just all pushed up in there. So. They have no preference really.
They don't care. They don't care. They're like, it's water.
Your setup's pretty much, I'm running about the same thing as far, my tackle box right now in my kayak. What I'm taking with me, I got a rod with a top water. It could be a snakehead, could be a one knocker. That holographic bone's been working really good. What he calls baby trout, and Texas croaker on the salty pluggers been prime. Pink and silver, always a good color to go with for the trout this time of year in the potholes. And soft plastics, I got a Cotto green,
Yep.
depending on watercolor, Cotto green blaze shad, and then that SBR trash.
It's my favorite color.
On the redfish magic. I got a redfish magic or a chatterbait. I run I'll throw a chartreuse chatterbait with a gold blade in the dirtier water in some of the bayous and stuff around where I'm targeting fish. And like you said, a hunchback every now and then, there's a little bit of structure, some grass lines with some little ambush points. The key thing with the redfish is the ambush point. They like to be set up to where they can crush something.
Yep.
Little indentions in the grass points, little sandbar pockets, yeah, stuff like that.
It's almost time for the frogs and the creature baits and the Texas rig stuff to get back up into the.
Oh yeah, when we get those higher tides coming, yeah, I got plenty of the white frogs. I'm ready. I made some of my own inline buzz baits, and they have white Zoom horny toads on there. I'm actually going to tie some with a gold spoon on them.
Nice. That'd be good.
And they're skirted.
So a skirt and a spoon?
It's a spoon it's a weedless spoon with skirt off the back, and then it'll have the double counter rotating buzz blades in front of it.
Nice.
Strike King used to make those back in the day, and I used to crush bass on them in the lily pads. And it was like a leopard frog colored with a yellow blade. But I got some blades coming. I got some of the spoons coming. I have some black ones with black skirt. I have a gold one with chartreuse skirt. So I'm curious to see what the redfish are going to do to that. I have a feeling they're going to hammer it. So yeah, I'm gonna make some. I got a little heavier wire coming to put in a jig and get it all twisted up and ready, and I'm gonna have to put those out there and see how they do. I have to do an update on that.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, the old faithful. You always got a spinning rod with a popping cork. Just a plastic swim bait or gold managed shrimp.
I don't remember we talked about it last time, but I've run a Spook Junior.
Mm-hmm.
And run a 12 or 14-inch lead off the back with a EGW hook, and rig a soft plastic, Canadian lure.
Yeah.
Rig a blazing shad weedless, and you're working the top water, and behind it is that plastic darting all over the place like a jerk bait. It has worked really good coming along grass lines.
Yeah.
Especially this is the time of year that they work really good.
I forgot what it's actually called. Somebody has one out there. It's packaged. It has the lure itself, and it doesn't have any hooks in the top water, but it has the leader with the jig head, and it's made by somebody down in South Texas. 312 lure or something. I don't know. So I can't remember what it's called. I know it's something out there.
Yeah, when I get a top water that's absolutely beat, it'll transition to that. So.
Yeah, it does. I got a couple of those that I just can't let go of, and they still catch fish no matter that half the color is ripped off the sides and everything. It's
I'm convinced every once in a while there's a sound. Every once in a while you get a lure that just has the sound.
I got a one knocker and holographic bone that is like that, and I just keep changing I've changed hooks in that thing. I guarantee over a dozen times. That's how many hooks I've been through on there.
Yeah. Well,
and that's a key tip for everybody out there listening to those. If you buy those stock Spook Juniors, change your hooks.
Yeah, four times hooks.
Yeah.
4 times hooks on.
You'll be heartbroken. Yeah. Show a wheel, it'll sneak up on you when at least expect. Well, all this COVID mess kind of messed up my schedule for the year. I know it affects us. Mike's my redfish tournament partner. We had some big plans this year. Chase some, and then with this COVID-19 crap, kind of threw a wrench in everything, everybody's plans and events, and they, changed some dates and everything. So we got a few kicking back off. We were going to talk about. So gonna get into that, a little tourney talk right here. So, like I said at the beginning, it's just a little smorgasbord of info in this episode. Just wanted to come and just have a leisurely chat and put it out there in podcast land. So what we got coming up this weekend? I know we got something coming up Saturday the 23rd.
That's saltwater survival.
Saltwater Survival Series.
Yep.
23rd. Yep. Mr. Daniel Hayes and the guys, Nicholas Gibson, and them putting this one on. That should be the redfish tournament. They do have a side pots available and everything. Well, they got a big trout, spot pot, a slam pot, and then a big flounder pot too, right? Possibly. I'm not sure. Check it out. Yeah, but yeah, it's a good event. It's run out of San Leon.
Yep.
Yeah, Sunset Lounge. That's where the weigh-in will be. 2 redfish stringer. Right? 2 redfish? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Live redfish weigh-in.
Yes.
If they're not live, you get a little deduction.
Yeah, real.
Yeah. So yeah, that's coming up this Saturday, the 23rd. Go check them out. saltwatersurvivalseries.com. You can look it up online and get the info. Go over it. They got a Facebook page. Hit them up. Go check it out. And then the week after.
That's going to be our first kickoff, right?
30th. Yeah, I should be able to fish that one.
That's our
Saltwater Angler. Saltwater Angler Series, the 1-day event for the kayaks. It's a team event. $300 entry.
Looking forward to that.
Yep. I need
Quite
to go.
honestly, I'm looking forward to getting back out and
Getting back out, yeah.
Seeing a lot of our
seeing all the fishing buddies, all our friends and everything, getting back onto it. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that one. They were supposed to have one this past weekend, but the weather caused them to cancel. So that got pushed back to October. So it looks like we'll be making a few of these events. I know I started a maintenance turnaround at work on the 15th of June. So I'm going to be out of pocket for about 40 days unless I can finagle. I told them I'm finagling some time off because in July the 12th, we have the IFA kayak tour coming to Port Lavaca. And what's Port Lavaca?
Hometown fishing zone.
It's my home waters. It's my home waters. So I'm excited for that one. When I saw that one on the schedule, I was like, oh, shoot, it could be a blessing, could be a curse. But
it's going to be a fun event. It's definitely going to be a fun event.
Yeah. We'll see how that one pans out. That's on a Sunday. Yeah. I believe so. Is it a Sunday? I should have got all my stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
Sunday the 12th. They run the boat division on Saturday and the kayak division on the Sunday. That's what it is. Yes, Sunday the 12th. So, unless it changes, because it was scheduled for March, and then it, with everything happening and everything went down, it got pushed to July. They kind of rearranged their schedule everywhere. Same thing with the bass side of things. Stuff starting to kick back off. We got some tournaments kicking off too. Cats is this weekend. Kayak Anglers Tournament Series. They're on Fayette this weekend. I actually took off work to fish that one. I would love to fish the Saltwater Survival Series, but I don't think me trying to fish over here in my area and trying to fight holiday weekend traffic.
Memorial Day weekend traffic up to San Leon, Galveston.
And then get weigh in at 5, 6, 7 o'clock and then don't get home till 10. I have to work in the morning. I think I'd rather drive an hour and 10 minutes to Fayette and fish. Maybe. I don't know.
It's a fun
We'll see what's going to happen. Yeah, I'm going in blind. I'll be going in blind. I didn't get a chance to pre-fish. So we'll just see. Just kind of, I don't really like to fish historically from what this time last year. I did this really good this time last year on Fayette, but things change. Just have to wait and see. See how See how it pans out. Who knows? I'm up in the air. I'm up in the air.
You got to let me know how that lake is always pressured. I mean, it's always pressured. There's always a tournament on it. There's 2 or 3. Heck, almost every kayak tournament we fished on it. There's a boat tournament or 2 boat tournaments going on at the same time.
Well, there's some new stuff going on now. There's people launching and going by, and the little sun dolphins and this and that, and they're paddling around to the banks, and they're getting out and cast netting tilapia.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Have you seen the hogs up on the bank around that lake?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, you see the bobcats. You see the bald eagles, coyotes, whatever, everything. Yeah. There's all kinds of wildlife, but they get out and wade along the bank and are casting it in these where these beds are at for the tilapia. Man. It's like, they got to be catching bass in there too. Absolutely. I know there's been some issues with they're out there casting net and all that stuff, so they're pretty much shutting down that area for a shallow water bite.
Well, the good thing is they probably don't go all the way across the lake or make the long runs.
They're all up and down that one side from Park Prairie all the way to almost to the spillway.
No kidding.
Yeah, to the discharge. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you.
And hearing some stories about that. Yeah, that lake's a lot of fun. Bass Drop's fun. We got Southeast Texas on Bass Drop in June coming up.
Conroe was this past weekend, right?
Conroe was this past weekend. Yeah, had some good numbers turned in. I think Brandon Malley busted 100 inches on that one. And my boy
Tony had a big bass.
Tony had big bass. Tony Sebring. My boy Jeff Isham finished in the money. Second place, Tim Robin. He did. But cast him a check. D&D Guide Service, good guy, good fellas, right there.
See, that's me. I live in between Lake Woodlands and Conroe.
Oh so yeah,
those are my freshwater jaunts. I should have fished that tournament. I'm kicking myself in the rear. I should fish that tournament.
I should have fished that. I hosted our Paddle and Fin. We had a bracket series of tournaments that where all the hosts were battling it out together. And what you listeners out there in podcast land, some of y'all will know this. It was a bracket to fill out, just like the March Madness brackets. You fill out your bracket, who you think is going to win, and then we have all these awesome sponsors that gave us these. We organized these prize packs, 1st through 7th place, and it was free to enter. It's free to enter this, and think about it. First place gets like $1,500 worth of stuff, and it was free. So there was a couple of matchups Saturday. I fished my matchup Sunday. Luckily, I won. I'm down to the final round of the championship round. There's a losers bracket still. So the top 3 from the 3 matchups, the 3 that won, we face all off each other in the championship round, and whoever wins there goes to the final matchup. The other 2 go to the losers brackets, and they'll be battling it out on the loser side of the brackets. And then whoever wins the losers brackets faces the championship round winner, which hopefully will be me. I'm trying to get
money's on you, man. Money's on you.
I hope so, man. I'm on a little roll. Got some good water. I've been fishing. Choke Canyon's been real good to me. So, and I get signal over there, so I think that's my next stop for the next round. So, it's been fun, man. It's a cool thing. It's just fun. And it's live stream, so the pressure's on you. Your people are watching, and you got questions coming in your ear. You got your earbuds in. You got questions, and man, my main thing was like, don't stop fishing to talk. Just keep casting. Talk while you're casting. I can multitask. There ain't no problem with that, so it's all good. But I was like, man, how cool would that be? Because there's that same thing's going on with Scott Butcher from Westbrook Wednesday. It's got some stuff going on with the Five Fish Live. Yeah. They just had a championship. Cody Milton won. Jackson Ward got second. It was a good turnout, man. We had some awesome anglers over there and it was a good experience. And then, I was throwing some bones out there. Amanda Brandon from KBF was the judge, and she was commenting on some stuff and this and that. And she judges a lot of the Redfish Challenge series through the KBF, and I was like, redfish, firefly?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's
do that. We need to do that. So really, I would like to organize some sort of a redfish bracket tournament where it would
that'd
be
excellent.
Online. You know, you draw, you make the bracket, kind of like the kayak bass bracket tours do it now. There's another thing that started from this whole COVID crap. Same thing. This guy's got a brackets, north, south, east, west brackets, and these people are paired up fishing each other, and they fish down through the brackets till they have the championship round. You know, it's a cool concept, being that you know, the main thing about tournaments was that camaraderie and that meeting up and the captain's meeting, having fun, having the hamburgers, hot dogs, cooking out after the weigh-in and everything, talking story, having a good time, you know. So all that was kind of nipped in the butt, you know, and it's like, man, so what can we do? So they started these brackets up. We started doing this stuff, you know. They started 5 Live. It's been rolling. It's a good thing. It's such a good for the growth, for non-endemic sponsors, for non-fishing sponsors to see this. Man, these guys are serious. You guys are serious. We're taking it serious, you know.
Absolutely. And, you know, people also they underestimate the impact that it has on you to tournament anglers are pseudo adjusted to the fact that, you know, you're being forced to perform in a window.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, I come from a competitive shooting background, and that was always the big thing. When that buzzer went off, your plan went out the window. I mean, it was that inducing that stress. Mm-hmm. You have to get used to being under that stress and functioning. And tournament, tournament guys are one thing, but then you taking it to the next level with live broadcasting of the kayak tournament, and talk about putting some stress on people.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's the same thing with surfing contests. Mm-hmm. You got 15 minutes in the heat. You're supposed to get your best 3 waves. You know, You don't know them waves are going to come to you, and no wave's the same.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah. You don't know what turns you're going to be able to do on that wave. Same thing skateboarding. I can go through, okay, I'm going to do these tricks and this tricks and this trick. And that time for me to make my run in that bowl, and I go blank. But you had to prepare yourself, just like, you know, I can't say it enough. Mental preparation is like a huge part of tournaments. And you know, and then added that extra pressure cooker of being live and having to deal with streaming, and you got people asking questions on the comments, and you got people, you know, the hosts are relaying it back to you. Man, it's like crazy. It was crazy. And it was fun. It was exciting.
Fun to watch.
It's exciting. It's exciting. I couldn't believe my dad was like, man, I watched the whole thing. I was like, oh, cool. Then my wife and daughter, they were like, man, we got on there and watched it too. I said, yeah, I know it's bad, but still, it's still fun. It's fun. It's pretty dang fun. I had a good time. Good time interacting with everybody. It's really cool. So, man, dude, I appreciate you jumping on here with me tonight. Kind of just cover all segment tonight. Just kind of
all over the board.
Throwing some stuff out there, you know, just a smorgasbord of information. That's what we're gonna call it.
You know what we need to do at the end of the tournament season? We need to go back, and I'm going to start assembling a recap. I'm going to recap all these major tournaments and you know, who won and what was going on, and get a end of year recap put together.
Yeah, we're going to try to do that. That sounds like a good idea. We'll do an end of the year recap for the saltwater side. Yeah. I know some of our hosts do the reel down segment and update all the freshwater side of things. But yeah, that's why I said we're going to get some saltwater results and all that. Start getting after it on our side of things. So that'll be cool to have something to look forward to. We got these tournaments coming up, so I hope to see everybody out on the water. Mike, I thank you for coming on with me tonight, and thank y'all to the listeners, man. Y'all, man, don't forget to rate, give us some 5 stars. You know, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already on whatever podcast platform you're listening to, and we appreciate every one of you out there listening to this podcast. So, Dustin from Chasing the Tide, tournament partner Mike right there. We wish you a fine fishing excursions coming up. Hope to see y'all on the water. We'll catch y'all next time. Later. Peace.